say you appeal that, and then you go up into divisional court, and then you start going up. Things are different. It gets more formal, and it's less monkey business. I had to throw that in with monkey talk. Less monkey business going on, and then you have an opportunity. And I've been accused of being you can go to enthusiasm that you have for your case, how much effort you have been putting into it, and you really taken the bull by the horns here. And Kimberly, you will be great. And don't be discouraged if they want you to go to trial. As a matter of fact, be like, okie dokie, we'll go to trial. Okay, no problem.
I've been preparing. I got a whole shitload of questions. So, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's one other question though. So then if we do go to trial, there's a big problem because they've only allowed it one day.
So that's the other thing that you should ask for in your so actually, Amanda, I don't know if Jane's here, but I think that's a good point.
I haven't seen her yet.
You were never, your lawyer did not properly vet your case, didn't look at the evidence, and didn't properly prepare your case. I think, Amanda, she should flag this in her case management appearance to say, listen, I fired my lawyer, and I would straight out say because of incompetence and list the things that she didn't do.
Well, she didn't consult with.
Yes, she didn't consult with me. She didn't properly review my case. She didn't look at the videos that was the evidence that was provided by the plaintiff, or I guess are they plaintiffs in criminal court?
No, they're witnesses.
She's a witness. Okay, so your own lawyer didn't even look at the videos. So you could ask the court. So maybe that's the second motion. She has two motions, Amanda. One is for them to be dropped because it's bullshit, and the other one is to have, if it goes forward, then your second motion would be to ask for an extension on the duration of the trial because you never had an opportunity to discuss that with the court. It was just thrusted upon you that you only get a day. You were never asked what if you were going to bring witnesses. No one ever consulted with you as your self-representative how you were going to present your case.
You know what?
Right. No, they didn't want me to talk. They didn't want me to talk when I went to the adjournment, and the prosecutor just says, "Oh, I only need a day." But at that time, I was told that there weren't any witnesses.
Well, you can call your own witnesses too, and she can still do that, can't she, Amanda?
I think so. Again, we have to qualify. But here's the thing, and I'm going to point out that Living Soul actually brought it to my attention, and she's quite right. She should actually put in a motion as well for her right to a trial, for a trial by a jury of her peers.
Yeah, I have a problem with that though. I really do, because there's so many COVIDiots.
Yeah, but you can also request that. Actually, no. Let's just park that. You took notes, right? I think I saw you writing some stuff down.
Yeah, an extension for trial.
Yeah. So obviously we're going to talk to you again. But make notes of that because if they do say that they're going to go forward, then this will be, I guess, your second motion that you're going to verbally ask. You're not going to put forward a written motion. You'll do that if you go to trial. I'm going to say if you go to trial. And guys, just so everyone knows, we have not started the topic for tonight's Zoom. Kimberly jumped on early, and we started talking, and here
so
we
bring
are.
that.
Now,
so bring that up on the 13th.
Yes, if they say you're going to go to trial, then you should bring it up. But if they say they're going to drop it, there's no point to bring it up,
okay.
right?
All right. Sorry to take up so much time.
That's okay. I think we're still waiting on Jane. And Andre, did you have a question that was related to this?
Thank you, though.
A couple of minutes. You're welcome, because we're going to get started soon, but we are waiting for Jane, so you can speak your question.
It was not a question related to that. It's just to give you an update on my discrimination case. It's just to say that when I appealed, I sent an application for judicial review at the federal court, they accepted it. They said the notice of application accepted for filing. So they're looking at my case. So it's Andre versus the Canadian Human Rights Commission to look at my discrimination because my argument to them was I was discriminated against based on genetic characteristics, and that's the approach that I'm taking. And so now it's going to be sent it's at the federal court. I'm going to have a hearing to.
Are you doing, sorry, I have to ask, are you doing a S203 or are you doing the Human Rights Code?
It's the Human Rights Act because I was at the federal level. So it's a Human Rights Act. And so basically the Human Rights Commission told me, oh no, you don't have a case here. Now it's being sent to the federal court for them to look at my case to see if I have a valid hearing. Then they're going to tell the Human Rights Commission to then send it to the Human Rights Tribunal.
Well, because I'm very interested how this nets out.
Yeah, because my angle of it is I want it to be linked as a genetic characteristics, because if we can have vaccination status or based on gene therapy considered discrimination under the act, I think that would open up a whole.
Hell yes.
That's my angle, and so far I'm still in there. So Monday I'm waiting to hear back from the respondent, and then from there we're going to get a date, I guess, for the hearing, and that's kind of where I'm at so far. And I just want to give you an update on that.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. And but we're so tonight when we're going to talk about the travel, we've broken it into two pieces, and the small action we had the S201, but I'm always really hesitant to add it because then you get into a science debate, and of course the government's like, oh no, it doesn't change genetics at all. It's like,
well, actually, we looked. I have a lot of supporting evidence from the own team that they say, okay, for example, COVID testing is needed, and we need to know the test results. And on the own government side, it says that the testing results, like the approved test is the PCR, and the PCR is an analysis of RNA acid. All on the government, so I'm not questioning science. I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. I'm just saying that this qualifies as under genetic discrimination.
Yes, so the testing absolutely does, because it's a nucleic acid test, and technically the spit test, the antigen test, is also nucleic acid because a protein contains fragments of RNA and DNA. So technically it is, but that's where you get into the debate. But PCR, absolutely, that 100%. There's no debate there, 100%. Just give me a second, guys. I don't think that Jane is here yet. No. Amanda, can you message Jane while I fire up?
Okay.
Where is that lady? Where is Jane?
I tried calling her earlier and she wasn't available, so she may have been going down for a nap. I really don't know. But honestly, guys, you have to understand she's also recovering from shoulder break and surgery.
And Jane does not know how to slow down.
No,
guys. Jane, like I talked to her, she's like, she's driving around and huffing around. I'm like, what are you doing, Jane? She was like doing five different things. Okay, so it's 7:15. Jane will jump on when she does. Let's get started for the night. And Rob, can you show us your shirt, please?
Yes.
and I love it too. I love it. That's awesome. Where did you get your shirt made, Rob? Can you hear me? We can't hear you. Yeah, I want one too. Okay, so I don't know, Rob, you just talk if you can get yourself sorted out, because I would love to get a shirt. So before we get started, a couple of things. Housekeeping. Number one, this meeting will be. Oh, your mic is screwed. Well, listen, when you get your mic fixed out, you let us know. So number one, this meeting will be recorded. It will be shared on social channels. It will be shared in our email. If you do not want to have your image plastered on social media, you can turn off your video. You can do that by clicking on the three little dots on your square. You can also change your name to a different name if you'd like by, again, clicking on the three dots on your square. If you would like one of us to change your name, we can do that for you if you are having issues, or even if you want us to turn off your video, we can do that as well. So just let us know. Oh, here comes Jane. Just let us know. We also ask that everybody remain muted. We have been attacked, and I actually believe I know who the person is who's been organizing the attack, because I'm Rebecca Shepard, and I am a big snooper, and I think I found the girl pretty darn quick. So if there are disruptions tonight, we just ignore it and we continue on. And they're starting to fade fast because you know, when you don't get attention, well, you move on. And I take that compliment because clearly we're pissing people off. And when you piss people off, it's because you're doing something right. So mute button. Sorry, keep yourself muted. If you'd like to speak, so the first half of the presentation, we'll go through the information that we're going to share. And then in the second half of the presentation, we'll open up the floor for Q&A. And again, we do ask that everybody remain muted just because there is a large number of people. And we do ask that we keep the questions to the end of the call. So please make notes as we go. If we open the floor to questions in the beginning, we'll never get through the call. We sometimes barely get through the call. So on that note, oh yes, the hand raise tool on the bottom bar, you'll see a little smiley face with a plus sign. That's where you can make reactions. You can make like high fives and hearts and celebrations and all kinds of stuff. There's also a raise hand button. Click on that, and then your square will pop up a hand, and it goes in order of the hands going up, and I will manage that. If you're having issues, just put a note in the chat. Both Amanda and we keep an eye on the chat. And yes, and the chat's open so you guys can talk amongst yourselves. And I am going to hit record now.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right. So tonight, guys, it's the long anticipated travel restrictions action. And we've split this into two pieces. Actually, sorry, we have Amanda on the call and Jane has arrived too. I'm sorry, guys. The Three Musketeers, right, Bojana? So we're going to review the first part of the action tonight. So it's split into two pieces.
I'm sorry, I just love Rob's shirt. He's got it right there in the center.
I really like that shirt too. So guys, we've split this into two components. So tonight we're going to go through the notice of liability, which I know a lot of you are familiar with, but we've really taken the time to button this down and really honed in on this particular NOL. And fun fact, guys, fun fact, it is not Omar Algebra who created the travel restriction interim order. It's not an order in council. It's an interim order, and it was not Omar Algebra. Even though Omar Algebra is the one speaking, he's the front man because he's the Minister of Transport, the interim order was issued by the Deputy Minister of Transportation, Michael Keenan. All right? So this NOL is going to be served to Michael Keenan. He has signed off on the interim order. He's the dude that's getting it. So we'll go through the interim order, we'll go through the affidavit, and then we've built we're not calling it an invoice anymore because there's some reasons for that, and we'll get to it. But we're going to go through the statement of claim. Is that, Jane, is that what we called it again? Yeah. I can look at it again.
Instead of the invoice, it was statement of debt.
Statement of debt, thank you. And so we'll go through that as well. And then our plan is we'll get folks sorted out with this NOL. We need folks to action it quickly. Now, anyone in the Barrie Simcoe region, Amanda's going to be in Barrie on Monday night?
No, Monday morning at 11 a.m.
Monday morning at 11 a.m. We will do both of them, but we're going to start with the NOL, and there's a reason for that. Then we're going to move into the second part of the action, which you guys are all familiar with, which is the small claims court action. Now, here's the beauty about Mr. Michael Keenan, is because he is government, we're going to serve him acting as Deputy Minister So you can serve it to his office.
Yeah. To who's ever in charge at his office.
Yeah. Amanda, do you want to put in the chat where you're going to be on Monday for folks? The time, date and time. And so my mind is totally, it's like a gopher. I just looked somewhere and thought of something else. But the small claims action, I'm going to let Amanda speak to it. Very high level, Amanda, why it's a little bit different than a typical court action.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to give you guys a brief synopsis. I think I have shared it, but there's one thing I want to make a change to before we upload it to the Stand4Thee website.
Wait a minute. Is this for the NOL?
No.
We're not reviewing the small claims court. She's just going to talk about the process. Yes. Don't even get into any details.
Okay.
I'm just talking about my process.
Yeah. Okay.
So in my past, when we had people who didn't pay bills, whether or not we had, so understanding people that sometimes you can have implied contracts without a signed contract, and then you do an invoice, yada, yada, yada. I would take the invoice. I would attach so if we did an invoice and someone didn't pay it, we would take the invoice that we wrote, and we would take all the invoices that supported that invoice and attach it. Then we would go to our employees and have them swear affidavits, and we would attach it. And then we'd go to our subtrades and we'd have them swear affidavits, and we'd attach it. And then so you have the invoice and all the evidence to support the invoice attached to it. And then we'd put together a statement of claim, and then we'd attach, and then we'd take all those things and we'd sandwich them underneath affidavit. And the affidavit would actually be more of a table of contents, and it would you would be affirming that the attachments included form part of the affidavit, and then it would have the table of contents. So everything from the invoice to the invoices that support the invoice to the employee statements and their affidavits and the subtrade statements and their affidavits would all be sworn under an affidavit in one package. And if you will, the trial, the written, instead of doing an oral trial, it would be presented like a trial, but in written format. That would all be presented at once. Then you would complete the plaintiff's claim to, or if you will, written trial, and you would file that with the court. Then you would serve it on the person. Now, if you don't have the person's address of service, I've actually done this. I didn't know their official address of service. So I put the address that I thought it was. I served them in person. Because I served them in person, they couldn't refute it. And that's why we won. It took me 3 years to find them again, to serve them in person a second time so I can compel them back to court. Long story short, I always got 100% of my claims plus my interest. If I had their address of service, it was much quicker. If I didn't have their address of service, it required hunting and sleuthing to find them, to serve them in person. But long story short, when I was in the court with the guy who I didn't have the address of service for, I wanted more money because of my years of hunting. And the judge looked at me. First, they tried to overturn it and get the trial to start again. And the judge said, I can't reopen this. Not that I won't. He said, I can't. And then I said, well, I want more money for all the time it took me to look. And he says, do you understand what you have here? And I said, yeah, I do. And he goes, no, do you really understand what you have here? And I was a bit cocky, and I'm like, I don't know. I think I do. And he said, then you understand that you've got more than enough built into this, and there's nothing no one can do about it. So again, I got 100% of my claim. I got all my interest. I actually turned a $10,000 claim into a $17,000 check. It took 3 years, but that's what I got 1 month later. So that's the way I do it. And it kind of stems from my history research. It kind of stems from the Court of Chancery, because that was largely done in writing as opposed to orally. I have my reasons for doing that way. I do explain it in my breakdown of how I do my steps to small claims court. And I think that pretty much the summary.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. Okay, so tonight we're going to be focusing on the first part, and the reason for that is a couple of reasons. Number one, let's give the guy an opportunity, because wouldn't it be great if he just stopped the mandates in 5 days? Wouldn't that be awesome? Now, in saying that, so the NOL that we've put together is an offer to rectify, giving the guy 5 days. Now, I do recognize that are folks like myself that have tens of thousands of dollars of tickets. There are people who were not able to see their loved ones. There are people that may have lost jobs. There are people that may have missed out on school, whatever the case may be, that something that was harm done because of this particular interim order, which relates specifically to travel, federally regulated travel operators. So it's buses, trains, airline, and marine within the country and to leave the country. You can still take a bus. So that's the bullshit, right? Because they can't regulate the buses because they're not federal. They're not federal. Are you guys hearing an echo? Because I hear an echo for myself.
Yeah.
You do?
I do.
I don't.
I know, just from Rebecca.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
hear one.
Oh, I think it's better now. Yeah, it's gone. Okay, so for anybody who is in that situation where there was harm done outside of not being able to travel, then this is not related to TTC. This is not related to Go Transit, guys. This is specifically for federally regulated travel that falls under the interim order that was issued by the Deputy Minister of Transportation, Michael Keenan. Okay, this is not this is the scope for this particular action. And anyone, like I'm saying, anyone who is above and beyond not being able to travel, and you still want to take action against this minister, we can help you do that, and you will customize your NOL to your situation. So we'll go through the NOL, we'll go through the affidavit, which is fairly simple process. We'll go through the, we're not calling it an invoice anymore. I have to look at it again, what we're calling it.
Statement of debt.
Statement of debt, thank you. And then that's gonna be the first part. And we want as many people as possible to submit these as soon as possible. The action is going to take place in Ontario because the offense took place in Ontario, because the minister is here in Ontario, his office is here in Ontario. This is where the order came from. So Jane is able to commission affidavits here in Ontario. And Jane, now if the action's in Ontario, Jane, can you still commission, or do they have to commission on their own?
What do you mean? If they're outside of Ontario?
Yeah.
If they're outside of Ontario, I can still do it because it's for the court here. Everybody's filing in Ottawa, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I'm not going to file in Ottawa because I'm in Ontario, and if it's happening to me, and the reason why we're sort of focusing on
not necessarily in Ottawa, but in Ontario.
Ontario.
Yeah.
So can I just clarify, because I know this affects my sister and other people are asking me directly, folks, if you're not in Canada, but you're a Canadian citizen, yes, you can take part in this, because here's the thing, you can fly into Canada, no one can stop you, but if you need to fly out of Canada because your home is no longer in Canada and you can't board a plane to go home, you are now being imprisoned in this country. Absolutely, you can take part, and between Jane and I, we can help make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, I'm just going to let you know, I can see that we've got one of those trolls in the chat. Obviously, we are not white supremacists. This person is being an asshole. So if you're being bothered by anyone in the chat, just let us know, and we'll get rid of him, rid of them. But guys, both Amanda and I, we're like hawks. We are all over this shit, just letting y'all know. But before we get started, I saw, and I think we should do this before we get started, because I saw V jump in here, and something really awesome happened today with Jane, myself, and V. V, are you there? V.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Hi, V. Hi, V.
Hey.
So,
Hey.
I thought it was perfect timing what happened today because of this meeting, and I'm glad that you were able to join. So, do you want to tell people what happened today? It was so
Well,
awesome.
somehow I got to the States. I had a festival in New York State, in the Catskills, and then I spent 3 days in New York City and Queens. And then going in, they didn't even ask if I had if I was vaccinated, but they asked my friend who went before me. But anyways, on the return, the Canadian border security had some draconian requests. They wanted me to get onto some app, and actually, you missed this part. They said you have to get onto this app, and I said I don't have a smartphone.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then they said you're holding a smartphone, and I said, oh, it's just for taking photos, which is totally not true. But anyways, and I said, I pass on your app, and they said you have no choice, and they got me to get out of the car and speak with the border security agents and someone from public health or something. So then I called immediately Rebecca, and she patched Jane in so that they could help me. I said, these are my representatives, so they're listening to your questions. You can tell the rest. You heard the rest.
Yeah. So V called. He's at the border now. V, we were on speaker.
Yeah, he could hear you. Yeah.
So and that was public health. It was the first guy, right?
And he was saying, like,
Yes.
really, like, he's trying to intimidate me, saying, like, I had to, get
Said if you didn't tell him, he was going to presume that you were unvaxxed.
Yes.
And we kind of flipped out on him over that. Like, excuse me? Are you diagnosing?
Yeah, he said, are you vaccinated? I said, that's private information. And in the Bill of Rights, I don't have to disclose that. And then I said, if I've done nothing wrong, I haven't broken any laws, you guys have to let me go. But then they insisted, and you tell the rest, like they wanted to give me a $6,000 fine.
First the guy was like, oh, you have to tell me, it's law. And we were like, no, you don't. Section 11 Healthcare Consent Act, that's not informed consent when you're coercing somebody. And then
he said PCR, and you said 14.
Yeah, Section 14. Acts, yeah. And then he was like,
they wanted to pull
CBS.
They wanted to pull me in and test me, and you guys gave me the legal advice that I'm not obligated, and it's my right to not have anything stuck inside my mouth, your body, or nose, or anything.
Yeah, anywhere.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm passing on this stupid Canada tracking app. I passed, and then I even said, I'll take the fine. And then they went back and they had a discussion, and then they sent some other guy, and he started taking down the
guy that came back he was Border Services. He was in a uniform, right?
And he said he wanted to know who we were. So I said, Jane Scarf, licensed paralegal from Ontario. And Rebecca said, I'm what did you say?
I said, I'm an associate with MJS Legal Services, Jane Scarf.
Perfect. Yeah, so then he's like, well, is there a problem?
Yes, and he goes, what seems to be the problem? I said, nothing. I said, this gentleman's trying to return back into the country, and he's being stopped at the border without.
He's being detained, and he goes, he's not being detained.
Yeah, and then I said, okay, so if he's not, and then said, okay, if I'm not detained, am I free to go? He goes,
instructed me to ask, am I being detained? Because he was starting to write out the $10 ticket and he wanted my name and to fill it all in, and then. You said, ask if you're being detained. And I said, okay, am I being detained? And he said, nope. And then then Rebecca and Jane said, leave right now. Get up and leave. So then I just said, I got to go. Bye. I'm not being detained. And he couldn't even fill out my name on the form.
Yeah,
they didn't follow me. I was worried, actually. I thought they would follow me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the border search. So here's something that I learned today, just so everybody's aware. So there is a section in the Quarantine Act that it is arrestable. And actually, Jane, I looked at it again, and it does reference. It's kind of referencing within itself. So section, I forget what section it is now, says that under section 15 bracket 3, they can arrest you under the direction of a screening officer or quarantine officer. Yeah. Oh, I know what else we asked too. We also asked, because he said that he wanted you to test.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, okay, ask him his medical credentials. And so V said, do you have any medical credentials for testing? No, I don't need to. And testing's not diagnostics. Yes, it is. And then he said, you're not vaccinated. And V said, you don't have the medical credentials to diagnose me as being unvaxxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And then when he said, am I free to go? He said, basically, he alluded to that he was going to keep you, or that he was good. There was a problem with, he called it
What was
hindering.
that word? Hindering, yeah.
Hindering.
Yeah.
Hindering. So there is a provision in the Customs Act for hindering an officer, but it only pertains to the Customs Act and then Import Act and something else Act. It has nothing to do with the Quarantine Act. So if they ever tell you that what they're doing is hindering a border officer, that's out of scope. They have no jurisdiction inside the quarantine. The only two officers that have scope inside the quarantine is screening officers and quarantine officers. And the only time a peace officer can be involved is at the direction of a screening officer and a quarantine officer. A peace officer has no other mention inside the Quarantine Act. So just so that everybody is clear on this. And V did great. So I'm going to give a big clap for V.
Yeah, me too.
And so
thanks, guys. I didn't know what to do, but all your questions, they didn't really have any answers. And so they just had to let me go, I guess.
Yeah. Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Now it's possible. I don't know. It's possible a ticket could come later or summons, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, because you take it to court and you fight it. And now V, I'm going to suggest to you that you put the no trespass sign up on your property if you haven't already done so.
Yeah.
Put a no trespass sign up on my home?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, 100%. 100%. Because then if they knock on your door, they have to have a warrant.
Yeah.
And if I don't have that sign, they don't.
And I'm not gonna deny I'm a little pea green with envy. I wasn't on that phone call today, but I was doing my own thing with someone who needed assistance with the Ontario Labour Relations Board. So we had some fun there this afternoon in Toronto.
So V, they never have access to your home without a warrant. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
But putting the no trespass door on your sign, you can tell them leave.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do it for sure.
Yeah. And if you can, laminate it and put it, because I think maybe you have a driveway, laminate it and nail it to the end of your driveway, and then they can't come in your property at all.
Like they can't even come up to your door. Yeah.
That's even better.
Come up to your door then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell them, if they come on your property, did you not see the no trespass sign? If you come on my property again, I'm going to charge you for trespassing. The Trespass Act is black and white. Without a warrant, get lost.
Yeah.
Nice.
And don't just do a note, folks. There was I'll put it in the link. There's a trespass sign that we have. It actually cites law, so I'll put it in the link, but don't just do a note, do the trespass sign.
Yep. And if police officers do come to your, guys, we're going to take questions at the end, guys. Please hold your questions. We're going to jump into you can leave your hands up if you want, but just hold your questions, because we're going to get moving on into the NOL and we won't get through the call. What was I going to say? Yes, if police officers do come to your house, number one, you don't have to answer the door. You don't have to answer the door to anybody. You are in your home. Number two, if they're bothering you, you could call the police and the station down the precinct and be like, hey, listen, like for example, somebody we know had a door cam, and the police were coming every day, and say, what the hell are you doing coming on my property? Especially if you have the no trespass sign. Why are you here? If you have if you want to set up a phone conversation to talk to me, I'll consider that, or fuck off. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you want to determine if they have a warrant or not, right? So like not that you have to open your door, but you have to like communicate with them so you know if they have a warrant, because otherwise they're going to break your door down.
Also, I want to
I
want to add, folks, that if they ask you to step outside, don't.
No.
Shit.
And also, when you're going through the border, lock your doors and put your window up.
Yeah.
That's what I do every time I've been pulled over. I keep my door locked and I only put my window down enough to pass paper through and to talk. And remember, now Chelsea Huff, she got annoyed with me, remember? And she was like, "Are you going to put your window down?" I said, "No, I'm not." And what I said to her was, "It's for your safety and mine. So no, I'm not putting my window down." Yeah, and then we got into a bit of a shuffle match with that paper. By the way, Jane, I don't know if I told you that Chelsea Huff said I was irate and I yelled at her. I was like,
shit.
no, I was just educating you and you didn't like it. Okay, so V, awesome job today. That was great. We certainly got a big buzz off of that. And I'm coming back into Canada closer to the end of the month. So I'm going to be doing the same thing. Am I being detained? No, then see you later. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, thanks for saving me. And just so everybody knows, they're just playing this trick that everyone just follows what they say, but they're if you don't say, "Am I being detained?" If you say, "Oh, can I leave?" They say, "No, not before you complete the form and you do A, B, C." So you have to say, not "Can I leave?" You have to say, "Am I being detained?" And then you leave.
Yeah.
Rebecca,
Okay.
I can't find the no trespassing.
It's already been shared in the chat.
Fair enough. I'm slow tonight.
Yeah. I just would like to clarify that we do not, we respect police.
Yeah.
I want to make it very clear, even though there are bad apples, there's bad apples in every bunch. There's bad apples in the movement group. Okay. But we are not anti-police. We still respect our police services. We need police services. I know that there are apples, but guys, if we didn't, let's just say this. It's like someone who says they're an atheist, until they're stuck in a foxhole and then they're going, "Please God, help me." It's just like, you're just saying that, tell me you're BLM or you're Antifa until someone's breaking in your house, and who are you going to call? You're going to call the police.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, you're out of here.
Actually,
Rob, you got to go, buddy. You absolutely not.
Where they
Cannot,
took over.
hold on,
Okay.
please 1 second. I cannot have anyone in this call talking about lynching people.
No.
Calling cops pigs, using the word fags.
No.
You will be removed. We are respectful of all individuals here. We do not judge, nor do we criticize. And I want to clarify, if anyone is thinking that because I have a problem with trans people talking to children, that's a separate issue and has nothing to do with gay people or trans people. That has to do with an agenda. I want to clarify that. So let's be respectful of everybody, or you'll be rude in a nanosecond, just as Robert was. I have no patience. None. Okay? Sorry about that, guys. I had to get that in. Now, we'll get, Amanda, the no trespass is going to be under the protest information. And now I'm going to do a screen share, and we're going to pull up the NOL. Dun, 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 the NOL. All right, you guys see my screen? Can someone give me a yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh my God,
Okay,
is that
cool.
you on the
So-
beach? I'm kidding.
Funny. No, it's my webcam. So we have a section on the website, travel restrictions, and we have some information here about the travel restrictions. We also have some links for you. Now, guys, another thing I want to mention to you guys, I don't know how many got the email and how many didn't, but there is, let me just pull this up. There was a press release by, who was it here? So that the travel industry requests to end the travel restrictions. And I'm just going to put this in the chat for you guys. There's like, they've created like a little coalition asking the government to stop the mandate. WestJet has asked to, we put in the email, and I'll put some information in the chat as well. This is the press release for the travel industry, like the group, the coalition that did a press release saying, like, you're destroying us, you're killing us. Canada, in case, I think we all know that Canada is one of the only, I think we are the only country left in the world with these travel restrictions. We also have Theresa Tam admitting in a press release, and I actually can pull that up for you guys too, there's no data to support that airlines or air travel causes a higher rate of transmission. She said there's no evidence of that. Yes, it is definitely Thomas Tam, that's for sure. So we have a lot of evidence against the government that's pretty solid. The Galaxy, not the people in, no, actually, let me clarify. The United States citizens do not need to have a vaccine to leave. We're the only country in the world that does. We're also testing people on arrival. We're the only country that does that. So
what about China?
They can't go anywhere. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
those people are locked down in their houses.
Yeah.
Well, but they can't travel. So there's no travel restrictions because they can't travel. They have home restrictions. They're literally getting their apartment buildings boarded up. Literally like nails in the building. Yeah. So anyway, guys, you're not understanding the issue here. They're testing in the airports. Watch the video because this is the problem, okay? The airports are being used as a to facilitate a public health measure using public health employees, staff. The border services are asking questions on behalf of a public health order, which is slowing down the border services process. Then there's randomly selecting people to be tested, and that is slowing down the process. And on top of it, there is a reduction of staff because of the vaccine mandate. And what this group is saying, I'm going to put it back in the chat for you guys and have a listen. They have very valid points, which of course are being dismissed by media. They're saying that the airports are being used in a fashion that they're not intended for, which is causing this backlog and hour-long waits. This is the issue, okay? All right, so we're going to go to the travel NOL, which I have open. Here we go. So I'm going to take a big step back. I think everybody here knows what an NOL is. It's a notice of liability, but I'm going to take a step back for everybody. So what a notice of liability is a statement of claim. So we identify the problem in the first sentence, which is that our rights are being violated and there's criminal violations being acted against us. And in this case, it's by Michael Keenan, who is acting as Deputy
Minister of Transport.
Yeah, Deputy Minister of Transport. I'm going to fix this. Sorry, guys, we just did this today. And we did it.
Well, we had it, but
no. What I mean, we finalized it today. We finalized it today. We didn't just do it today. We finalized it today. As we all know, we've been busy. Anyway, so this NOL is directed at the individual, which is Michael Keenan, who created this interim order. Okay, and I have the interim order, which I'm going to pull up for you guys to see. So this is the interim order, and it all falls under the Aeronautics Act, okay? So this is the interim order that we're referring to. I'll put this in the chat for you guys. Oh, geez. Okay, and then going back to the NOL, so this is what this first part is talking about. So this is where you're going to put in your information, your first name, your last name. You're going to state, and maybe you want to alter this depending on whatever your situation is. But basically, this order stipulates various travel restrictions such as proof of vaccination, PCR, antigen testing, quarantine for a period of 14 days in order to travel. And the reason why, so just to clarify, we are calling Michael Keenan a private human living soul, I should say. And then we're addressing Michael Keenan as the man acting as Deputy Minister of Transport. And we're doing that so that, oh, you can't see, I'll magnify this. I'm sorry, guys. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're the reason why we're not going to serve as Michael Keenan, the Deputy Minister of Transport. We're going to serve Michael Keenan acting as Deputy Minister of Transport, and we're doing that so that we can serve him in his office. We don't have to deal with finding out where this guy lives. And
wait a minute, same thing. It's the same thing. The deputy minister or acting as the deputy minister is the same thing.
Okay, what I'm saying is we're separating him.
And we're separating him between the man, Michael Keenan, and the person acting as the deputy minister. Those are the two separations.
Exactly. I hope maybe I didn't articulate that well.
Okay.
But that's exactly what we're doing here, guys, because I know there was some questions about that, so I just wanted to address that. Okay. Yeah. Now these are generic statement of facts. They may be this is where you put in what happened to you, and maybe you nothing happened to you, but you couldn't. Maybe I don't know. You can't get on a train. You maybe you got a ticket. Maybe you're somebody who was not able to go see a loved one when they passed. You need to state your facts here. So this is your statement of facts. Okay. So for me, I'm going to be like, well, I got $26,000 in tickets because of your bullshit. That's going to be what I'm going to be doing. So you guys need to put in whatever happened to you, whatever your situation is. Then we get into the harm caused. So this is, Rebecca Shepherd suffered a violation of we have to put in these generic pronouns because it's just, so that we can cover everybody. I'm not a he, she person, by the way. I know what my gender is. Thank you very much. Suffered a violation of their right of informed consent, privacy, liberty, and loss of transportation services because they did not want to reveal their personal medical information, be subjected to testing, nor forced into quarantine. As a result of this discriminatory act, they suffered an attempt to assault. Coercion is an attempt to force, and this coercion is with the intent to force them to have a vaccine, test, and quarantine without informed consent. These requirements resulted in the loss of service and committed the criminal acts of, but not limited to, extortion, public incitement of hatred, and negligence. Michael exceeded his capacity of lawful authority when he committed these threatening acts by implementing his order for travel and is personally liable. Now, if anyone was on the call last Friday, we showed the evidence of how the charter had never been ratified in Canada. That's what this section is addressing. And let's also note that Jane had always had this in the notice of liability since we created the notice. Jane created the first template of the notice of liability back in September of 2021. So this has always been in here because that charter's never been ratified. Then we get into what Michael has done, his acts against us. So he has acted ultra virus. His acts in his official capacity exceed lawful authority, failed to comply to principles of natural justice, procedural fairness, and other procedures that is required by law to observe, based his order on erroneous finding of fact that it made in a perverse and capricious manner without regard for the facts, failed to forward his order to the clerk of the Privy Council pursuant to Section 3, bracket 1 under the Statutory Instruments Act to ensure, and this is from the Act, guys. And again, if you've been with us for a while, you'll know that we talk about the Statutory Instruments Act and how the Statutory Instruments Act references the Canadian Bill of Rights. So it states under Section 3, bracket 1, to ensure that it does not trespass unduly on existing rights and freedoms, and in any case inconsistent with the purpose and provisions of the Canadian Bill of Rights.
That's beautiful.
Yep. And
it comes right from the Statutory Instruments Act, Jane.
Yeah. Yep. No, I know. I'm saying it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I don't care where it came from.
Yep. And I'd like to note too, guys, that Bill Blair, who's one of the ministers who declared the Emergencies Act, He is on the Privy Council, so clearly he didn't vet this through the Statutory Instruments Act.
No.
Okay,
More,
one second.
more treason. More treason.
Okay, 1 second here. Sorry. There we go. So then we want to say that Michael failed to honor the supremacy of God and adhere to the principles of procedural fairness and natural justice when he violated the right to privacy and informed consent and failed to get either a judicial decision or an act of parliament as required pursuant to Section 2 of the Canadian Bill of Rights, which is a failure to comply to due process of law pursuant to Section A of the Canadian Bill of Rights. Created two classes of people with discriminant order, which is a failure to comply pursuant to Section 1B of the Canadian Bill of Rights.
My favorite.
What's that?
My favorite piece of the Canadian Bill of Rights. Yeah.
And now we have underneath that Section 1 of the Canadian Bill of Rights, right to informed consent and privacy, and
1B.
And 1B, the right of the individual to life, individual to equality before the law and protection of the law. So 1A being that, it's actually the full, I might actually change this and put the full wording in there, which is the right to life, liberty, security of person, not to be deprived thereof except by due process of law. And
enjoyment of property. Enjoyment of property.
Oh, enjoyment of property. Oh, how could I forget that? And also, so that would be the privacy issues, the security of person.
Informed consent.
Exactly. And then 1B is where we're saying it's discriminatory because we are all to be treated equally before the law and all to be protected by the law, and we're not.
Okay, and I just want to make a statement here about the charter. Before I became familiar with the bill and in particular that section, I was familiar. I did a lot of advocacy and disability rights and poverty rights, stuff like that. And I learned the limitation of the charter with regard to equality rights. And that's in Section 15. You have a list of people or a list of categories of people, based on personal characteristics that are going to receive support from the government for equalization. Everybody else be damned. And I always thought if I was ever the prime minister, I would put an equality one that didn't have any limitations so that any discrimination, any form of discrimination would be not acceptable by the government. And sure enough, we already had one in the Bill of Rights.
Yep.
1B.
Yep.
So I never knew and even our human rights code also has that limitation. They have a list of categories that they defend, and that's it. That's all. So men between the ages of 25 and 65, nada. Like you can open a club and say no men, or men have to pay a $50 cover charge, but nobody else does, or do whatever. And there's no protection. You have to be in those categories or you're not covered.
Yep, exactly. And that is exactly, and this is what happens. And I think this kind of speaks, we always end up in the charter conversation because it's just so prevalent. But I think this is what happens when you start opening up categories, is you start putting things into these categories, and then that leaves out other things. But when you say we are all treated equally, and we have this obsession with categorizing.
Yeah.
We have this obsession of labels and categorizations and subcategorizations and genres of whatever it is. And this is what gets us into trouble, because in particular, when you look at the Charter of Rights where it says there are rights guaranteed here within, does that mean if it's not in the Charter, it doesn't exist?
Yeah.
It's not protected? It's not guaranteed?
The bill actually says if they miss something, don't worry. You still got it.
Yeah.
Like it says we're basically that they're trying to capture everything, but if everything isn't there, it doesn't mean you don't have it. It actually says that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, guys, when you create distinction, you create division, and that's exactly what the charter's meant to do. Is to create division among people.
Yeah. That helps for the destabilization. To have
100%. 100%.
These rifts, in the community.
Yep. Okay, so then we're going to carry on. So we've covered the Bill of Rights. Then we have, and this goes back to Here we go. So in January 2012, the Ontario Court of Appeal declared that the common law in Canada recognizes a right to personal privacy, more specifically identified as a tort of intrusion upon seclusion, as well as considering that appropriation of personality is already recognized as a tort in Ontario law. And then we have that listed there. Then we have the privacy under the Personal Information Protection Electronics Document Act, PIPEDA. And then we have the criminal code violations. So section 265, bracket 1, bracket 3, assault. Now, assault clearly states that if someone who's acting in
Authority.
Acting in authority, and there's no consent, that's assault. Extortion is clear. Do something, get something. Take the vaccine, and you can travel. Public incitement of hatred, and this happened to me. Actually in Mexico. I was actually asked by the airline when I was flying back if I had a vaccine, and I had to say no. And then the guy beside me got his back up, and I was in Mexico and I had a mask on my face, but it was under my chin, and no one says anything. As long as it's on your face, they don't care. So it was under my chin. And then the guy beside me says, "Oh, I'm going to need you to put that mask up." No. And then I was like, oh shit, everyone just heard me say that. So then I was like, okay, are people going to now be upset? Like, I don't want to sit beside her. And then I was like, great, what if this guy's sitting beside me and he just heard me say that? So it's a real issue, public incitement of hatred. It's a real problem. It's like, if you're in a store, because obviously I wasn't wearing masks. If you're in a store, we're not wearing a mask and no one says anything, then you get out, you're good. But once somebody says something, then it opens other people to say something.
Yeah. And actually, Rebecca, I'd like to remind you when we were in Mallory Town, and we had those cops who were discriminately not letting people in if they didn't have a mask on, but as soon as they put a mask on, they'd let them in. We had people confront us saying, why don't you just put a mask on? Why do you have to be so difficult? Like, they were confronting us. They were being antagonistic with us. So it's not the first, like, Mexico's not the first time. You and I experienced it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got circled in a store, literally circled by staff, because they said I was threatening their life, but yet they encroached right in on me. And I had my dog with me, and one of them tried to say that I had to leave the store, so she grabbed the cart with my dog in it. And
my God.
Now I got it sounds a little like Kimberly.
Yeah, I got body slammed. I got body slammed by the guy at Canadian Tire. I pushed him back, and then he said I assaulted him. I was like, yeah, you just body slammed me into a machine, buddy. Anyway, we'll continue on. Okay. Then we say Michael knew or have not to known that his actions. I got to move some stuff that's in the way. Would cause harm to the plaintiff. Therefore, his actions are negligent. So that's going to the negligent. That's going to, sorry, where is this going? I should actually put the title there. Negligence Act.
Yeah.
I'll put that here. Just to be consistent.
Is this ever more well developed than the one we read last night, eh?
You know what? I'm proud of us, guys.
I know. You saw, that's pretty cool too, because you haven't been doing this for that long, and you nailed when we were going through Rocco's. You're like,
Amanda had a big part to play in this. So thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
With Pilates?
No, Galati, no, that was.
That's what I meant. Like when you're, I know she helped with this, but I mean, when you looked at Pilates, you already recognize. You're like, well, what do they want? Well, how come they have all these different different causes and everything? And he just smushed them all into one lawsuit. It didn't develop like this, like what you're saying out there.
Yes.
You know, the harm and the law and the like what we want. We're very specific, like fix it or pay.
Yes. And it is very clear what we're asking for. It's very to the point. Then we get into our favorite, guys. In January 1959, the Supreme Court of Canada ruled that a public officer can be held personally liable when acting in their official capacity and in excess of their lawful authority. And I'm going to read it because I love it so much. Every official, from the Prime Minister, and I'll say, thank you, iPad, thank you, every official, from the prime minister down to a constable or a collector of taxes, is under the same responsibility for every act done without legal justification as any other citizen. The reports abound with cases in which officials have been brought before the courts and made in their personal capacity liable to punishment or to the payment of damages for acts done in their official character but in excess of their lawful authority. A colonel, a governor, a secretary of state, a military officer, and all subordinates, though carrying out commands, listen, this is important, though carrying out commands of their official superiors, okay, guys? No, I was told to do it, are as responsible for any act which the law does not authorize as in any private and unofficial
So that means
person.
Mikey has to pay.
Mikey, yes, ass is on the line.
Yeah, reach into his ass and pull out some dough.
Yeah.
And guys, if you haven't watched the videos we've been doing, the Bill of Rights, which recognize your God-given rights as the supreme law of Canada, because God is the supreme law of Canada.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is the awesome Ronsorelli versus Duplessis, 1959. Thank you very much. Now I will hand this to Rocco Galati. He used this in his case. He probably got it from us, just saying. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
Okay, so then here we go, guys. We're going to give our friend Michael 5 days to knock off the bullshit. If he doesn't knock off the bullshit, then a court case may ensue. So we're saying, buddy, you get rid of this interim order, and we're good. There's no problem here. And if you don't get rid of this order, well, we're coming after you for $35,000. $5,000. Sorry? Each. Exactly.
Yeah, so folks, if your province doesn't have a $35,000 limit, feel free to do it in Ottawa. Like, you can do it online and you can register it to the Ottawa courts.
Yeah.
So you can either do it at home in your home province, you can do it in Ottawa. If your home province has, like Manitoba, for instance, they have a limit of $10,000. So you may not want to do it in Manitoba.
We want everyone to do it in Ontario.
Yeah.
We want everyone to do Ontario. Jane can help that way. And then also, Alberta is 50,000 actually, but then it does vary. Some are more, some are higher, some are lower. Okay, so $5,000 for the right to privacy and liberty to travel freely. Section 1. Oh my gosh. I haven't even had wine yet.
Section 1A of the Canadian Bill of Rights.
Oh, thank you, Amanda.
Do you want to do this for a bit?
Do you want to take a lead while I actually get something to drink?
Yeah, sure. Number 2, $5,000 for legal injury regarding the discriminate act of creating two classes of people and failing to provide equal protection of the law to both classes, contrary to Section 1B of the Canadian Bill of Rights. Number 3, $5,000 for the legal injury regarding the breach of trust by public officer, contrary to Section 122 Criminal Code of Canada. Number 4, $5,000 for legal injury regarding the extortion, contrary to Section 346 Criminal Code of Canada. Number 5, $5,000 for legal injury regarding the public incitement of hatred, contrary to Section 319 Criminal Code of Canada. Number 6, $5,000 for legal injury regarding the assault, contrary to Section 265 Criminal Code of Canada. And number 7, $5,000 for the legal injury regarding criminal negligence, Section 219, subsection 1, Criminal Code of Canada.
Thank you. And I'm back. Excuse me.
Just in time, because I don't have the ability to scroll.
And there you go. This is the end. Total of this liability claim is $35,000. So suck it, buddy. Suck it. And tell me, what legal provision does he have? What legal provision does the man have?
Murder.
Right? So guys, this is the notice of liability. Okay? I'll put the link in the chat to the drive for you guys. Link to the drive. Oops,
and these don't have to be served in person. These ones,
no,
they can be,
Okay.
But having said that, if Rebecca is in Toronto, or I don't mind driving down to Mississauga because I can take it to, well, no, where's Michael Keenan's home base?
It's Ottawa.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, it's Ottawa. And, okay, so now we're going to go through, we'll just have a look at the, damn it, I did it again. Sorry, guys, I'm going to stop screen.
Yeah, so just to clarify, because people are asking about the address, we are identifying Michael Keenan and then Michael Keenan acting as the Deputy Minister of Transport. So you can then serve him at his home riding office, which means you can do it by registered mail. You can do it by courier. You could do it by regular mail, but with one of the previous two, you have a signature that you can prove that the office received it. Notice the agent is
actually, it wouldn't be the riding office. It would be his parliament office.
Yeah,
yeah.
Parliamentary.
There is two different ones, and the parliamentary one would be in Ottawa.
Okay, so but the point is that
I have his address already put into the invoice.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So it would be his home address if you had it. So those are the two services: home address or his parliamentary address.
Yeah, I can't give out the one, but I can tell folks where they can get it. Go to the land registry office. If he owns property, you'll find it.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to fix something there. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we'll go into the affidavit. Okay, so there's not a lot to do here. You put in your information, and then all you're going to do here is insert the statement of facts from the NOL. So going back to the NOL, you're going to grab the statement of facts from here. It may only be one. It may only be one statement of fact. You're going to put it in here, and then this information you fill out.
I thought we were going to not do the affidavit for the NOL.
Yeah, we're going to save the affidavit for the lawsuit.
Right. Okay, so ignore this, guys. You don't have to do the affidavit. So, sorry, old habits. You know, I'm actually going to take it off then because I don't want people to do it. I'm just going to download this guy because I made some changes. I don't want people. So, guys, that's my bad on that one. So, because we're doing this first, but we don't actually need to do the affidavit because we want people. The goal here is to get as many people as possible. I'm going to stop screen sharing. We want to get as many people as possible to do this, okay? And so, we're making it easy. Download the NOL template, put in your information, and now anyone in the Barrie and Simcoe area can go to the Simmering Kettle. Amanda, do you want to actually put the Simmering Kettle in the address for folks and the time?
What is that? What is that?
Amanda,
the restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so people can and what are you going to be doing there, Amanda, so people know?
Okay, so I'm going to be going to the Simmering Kettle at 11 a.m. on, sorry, I'm just responding to some of these chats, but I'm going to stop for the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to be at the Simmering Kettle on Monday morning at 11 a.m. For anyone who wants to do a notice of liability and they happen to be in the area, they can come in. Then you can talk to me one-on-one and ask questions if you have any. I will also probably give just a brief cursory of the plan with the because we're gonna next Friday we will launch the lawsuit itself, and I'll give a brief cursory on that. But long story short, if you want some assistance with the NOL, you can come in to the Simmering Kettle at 11 a.m. I have to be gone by 1. That's not negotiable, but in that 2-hour period, I will be there to sort of guide people through the NOL process, how to fill it out, what adjustments you might want to make. I will have pre-printed forms there. And if necessary, I'm going to talk to Shalou. Between the two of us, I'm sure we're going to have a printer there if we need to make adjustments to the statement of claim. So.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to just show you guys before I forget. I'll show you guys quickly what the, I keep forgetting what we're calling it, but we'll look at it in a second here. Statement of debt. So this is, it looks like the old invoice. I put the information here for Mr. Keenan. There is, and I don't know why these, I'll fix that in a second. And then I put in the items that are being transferred over from the notice of liability. So it's itemized for you. Everything is calculated. The only thing you need to do is put your information on there. Now, I did put, I don't know if you guys want to include an email address. I don't know if you want to put a phone number, but if you want to include a way to be contacted outside of a mailing address, something that's more expedient, you can do that. That's up to you guys, but you have to have a mailing address. And now, if you don't want to have your real address, you could choose your friends, your mothers, your grandmas, whatever. But you
need a post office box.
I thought you couldn't do post office box.
Why not? It's my address of service.
Yes, Pauline, that is the whole point here. The NOL is, you're going to tell them, so the NOL is an offer to rectify, okay? So that's what you're doing. You're saying, hey, listen, you're doing this shit to me. Here's the shit that you're doing to me. Here are the facts. These are the things that happened to me. So I'm going to use me, for example. So because, Michael Keenan is violating my right to privacy, informed consent. He's committed extortion, public incitement of hatred, and assault against me. When I returned into Canada, I was asked in public for my private medical information. I was being coerced into providing that medical information. I was detained. I was then ticketed to one time with $14,000. Okay, so that would be my statement of facts. And then again, going through all the legal provisions that we had listed in there and going through the offer to rectify. So I'm going to say, Michael, you got 5 days to knock off this order and all's forgiven. And if you don't, then I'm going to come after you personally, not the government, you, Michael Keenan, because you created this interim order unlawfully. And I'm going to come after you for $5,000 for the rights violation, which is the Canadian Bill of Rights, Section 1A and Section 1B, and for the criminal code violations, extortion, public incitement of hatred, assault, and negligence, to total $35,000. Okay. So that's what the NOL is. It's the offer to rectify, but you're telling them what the rectification is. If you don't knock off the bullshit, I'm going to file a case, a small claims case or a civil case against you for $35,000. So that's what we're doing here. Does that make sense to everybody? Can I get a whoop whoop? Okay, cool.
Or Pippa. No, because Jenna said that means hoo-ha.
So then this is what we're focusing on tonight, because we want to make this digestible and we want to make this easy to do. So all you have to do today, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. So all you need to do in this, sorry, 1 second, Amanda. All you need to do in this moment is fill out this affidavit and send it to him. That's a good question. If you have already suffered damages, again, I've suffered damages too. So if you want, now you could serve this and then say he knocks off the order, cool, serve him another one. You're not bound to just this. Or you could say, knock off the order and whatever else.
Pay your money.
Pay me $12,000. Pay me $26,000 for the tickets that I got. Give me the money, you asshole.
Well, you could give him an offer to settle too. So you're going to sue him for 35, but if he knocks it off and pays you 25, you won't sue him.
Okay, Daniel, you're gone.
Eh?
Daniel's gone. He's.
I was just gonna say, get that person out of here. We don't call people Jew governments. Sorry, we don't have any tolerance for that shit. Even if it's jokes, guys, not in this group. No tolerance. 0, 0, 0, 0.
So I just want to interrupt. Okay, so Jane and Rebecca, we have had some discussions about invoices because I've mentioned about putting in an interest statement on the terms and conditions. Now we've moved over, because of what I've encountered serving a lawsuit recently, to go in with a statement of debt. But you know what, Jane, even though the courts, you can leave it with the courts to decide, I think it might actually be worth testing this, even if we let the courts of justice decide what the interest will be, should we, when we win, because I'm very positive when we win. I still think we should put it on the statement of debt, the 2% per month
It's on
at
there.
2.82%. Okay, I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, it's on there.
Okay.
So is on there. Why would I take that off? That's the bonus.
I know, right? Aren't
That's
you glad you met me?
Now, I want to just address this. I'm just looking in the chat here. Here's the thing, guys. Nobody can search your car without a warrant, okay? Keep your doors locked. Keep your windows up. And I'll tell you something. When I was in Ottawa during the convoy, right, and I got stopped at one night, it took me, oh my God, remember? I was like, 3 or 4 times I got stopped in one night. I was doing circles trying to get to the condo because they were blocked anyway. And I don't know Ottawa well enough, and my GPS kept sending me back into them. Oh my God, it was so frustrating. My foul language is distracting and encouraging others to do the same. I don't think you're very familiar with Stand4Thee, because this is who I am. Anyway, so I had my door locked, and the officer actually tried to open my door. And I said, "What the hell are you doing?" And then she was flashing her light in my car, and I said, "You need to stop illegally searching my car." Remember, yes, I'm not going to apologize for swearing. If swearing offends you, you're not really focusing on the big issues here, okay? I am whose I am, and that's all there is to it. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you.
Yeah, so just, guys, lock your door. Put your windows up. And like I said, when Huff asked me to put my window down, I said, absolutely not, no thank you. And how I framed it up was, it's for your safety and for mine. And she said nothing after that, didn't she, Jane? What's she going to say?
Oh, no, for sure.
Yeah.
She didn't like when you were saying that it's federal, remember?
Yes. She didn't like it. She was bent out of shape. She didn't like anything I said. A couple of things. No, unfortunately, I don't think Brian. Oh my gosh, I actually forgot to send Brian the link, and I don't know where my phone is. Shit, Jane, I forgot to send Brian.
I think I've got Brian. I can do it.
Give him a call, Amanda, because I'm a goofball and I got distracted and I forgot to do that. But a couple of other things I wanted to talk about before we move on to questions, because once we go into the question, it's the floodgate. Number one,
Kimberly's stuff first before questions. Kimberly's case.
Yeah. So I'll go through my stuff quickly because it won't take long. So guys, please do, if you are concerned about children being exposed to confusing sexual ideologies, please have a look at your local library, because there is very clearly a concerted effort by groups like the Children's Aid Society and these publicly funded libraries to indoctrinate children into the trans world. And this is not about gay people. This is not about trans people. And as a matter of fact, I think it's unfortunate because now that's leading me to appear as though I'm actually not supportive of that, because now I'm pushing back on something that's related to trans people, and it's not something I'd ever thought I would do in my life. The thing is that children have no business being exposed to men in beards and dresses, and sometimes, which I found even more disgusting, is that they're dressed in demonic characters, and they use interesting names like toxic waste, and this is not what our children need. And someone was showing stats the other day of gender confusion, and it's gone up. I think it used to be like 10 years ago, it was like 10%. Now it's 20%. And we're seeing TLC, which used to be called the Learning Channel, and now it's like the Trailer Trash Channel. They have a program on there. It is a program, 100%, with transgender drag queen children. And it's completely unhealthy for children to be exposed to that type of gender confusion. I'm absolutely 100% against this. And we all have to be, it takes a village to raise a child, and we have to act as villagers now, and we got to make the phone calls, and we have to say no, and we have to let them know this is not cool. And I'm not surprised that it's the Children Aid Society, because we all know that's really a front for nefarious operations. But the onus is on us as the adults, and the onus is on us to be the ones that are the rational adults that actually care about our children, to stand up and say no.
The thing is, for me, that children, young children, don't have the wherewithal to understand what's being presented. That's what the problem is.
Exactly.
That at an older age, fine, and not that that they have to hide, but this is a presentation. This is meant as a presentation, so it's forcing, thrusting, and when children, as they evolve, they need to ask questions and learn as they're ready and able. And the parents need to guide that, not the goddamn friggin' library with the assistance of the Children friggin' Aid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's what's disgusting about it.
Yeah, you can't tell them too much, and you can't tell them confusing things. Like they don't want, like if you take your 4-year-old and tell them all your sexual acts that the mother and father are doing, that's going to screw them over, because they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the capacity to understand that. It's just going to confuse them and overwhelm them. And the same thing for this. Like it's not that we don't want the acceptance, or the that trans have to hide or something like that. That's the point. This is a captive audience. It's taking children and saying, here, look at this, accept this. This is good. This is normal. This is healthy. All that, which that's true. It is.
If you're an adult.
But
if you're an adult, you need to process.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I meant. They can't process it. Even if, like all of the above, they just like, wow, they don't understand. They have there's nothing there for them to put that all together.
Yeah.
You have to be a lot more sophisticated to understand and put that all together.
Yep, exactly. So just be cognizant that this is happening. I shared it, and then somebody wrote back and said it's in there. I think it was Sachi said it was in her community. It's in Pembroke as well this weekend, tomorrow at the Pembroke Public Library. So guys, this is happening. It's flying under the radar, and we have to bring this to the forefront so that we can address it.
Yeah.
Did you get in touch with Brian, Amanda? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted, Amanda.
Sorry, I muted myself because I was trying to phone him, right? And I didn't want to disrupt.
Yeah.
I tried him twice. He's not answering. I did text him. I'm just
he can come next week if he doesn't make it today. He can come next week.
Okay.
I apologize to him. I completely forgot to message him, and I don't even know where my phone is, because long story. I went to go get food for dinner, and then my husband had my bank card, and I went all the way there, and then I had to come all the way back without food, and I'm hungry. Anyway. I'm not going to talk about Rocco Galati. We can talk about that next week, but I would like to talk about that. Update on Pat King and George. Jane.
Sorry.
Are you talking about the Pat King thing? What are you laughing at over there, Amanda? Are you okay?
I'm totally clapping for the Pat King thing. Go, Jane.
Okay. First, I want to announce another win. Jordan, Dave Freedom assisted Jordan to get out. They were keeping him ongoing. He had his bail hearing, and they put bail denied, and he didn't have his bail review yet, because it's quite a complicated process. You have to get a transcript and then set a date, and yada yada yada, and time's ticking. I think it's almost a month now, right? Since the
yes.
Okay, so he's in jail for a month, yeah. So Dave presented, like we did up with, like, everybody threw in to assist with habeas corpus. So he contacted the Crown, and he told the Crown, like Jordan's Crown, that he was going to file this habeas corpus, and he wanted to make sure to get the correct address and all that. And the Crown was like, "Whoa, habeas corpus? What the hell?" And they really reacted. And next thing you know, boom, he's out. No bail hearing, no hoopla. Like, first of all, he's blocked in tight, can't get out, can't happen. All of a sudden, the Crown consents to the lawyer to let him out. Boom, boom, boom. Because his bail hearing was supposed to be for June 6th, which is Monday, and they let him out yesterday.
Yeah.
So Pat King, Dave has also got a habeas corpus.
I mean, yes, Pat King.
Today, for Pat
and George
King.
and potentially George as well.
Yeah, I don't know if he filed for George or not. I'm not sure. But
no, he didn't. He's
yet. Working on it. Okay. He's working on it.
Yeah. So he filed for Pat King. So the thing with that is we don't know how they're going to react to that, because if they've already made a deal, they can't go wham bam and let him out, because looks like if they make the deal with Pat, it'll be similar to the one they made with George, to time served up to June 16, and then everything's good to go. So it's probably going to be similar with Pat. So if they get the habeas corpus, it's going to be very awkward for them, because first of all, they can't justify he's in there, so, and habeas corpus, the court has no choice, by the way. If they're asked, they have to produce the body, okay? So there's only two options. One is let him out, like by consent, get him the hell out of there. Or they would have to tell the judge, no, we can't let him out because we made a deal with him.
Yep. And this is
A or B. He's going to get out, or they made a deal with him.
Yep. And we, oh no. Okay, guys, I'm going to take 2 seconds to address this Rocco Galati case. We read through it yesterday, and guys, he's got like how many different people into one 4
pages. 4 pages when you go to the Supreme Court.
4 pages.
Remember because I purchased the thing, we're flipping through it going, who are all these people? And why is there a theater group?
Well, how many pages is it in total? Like 700 pages?
Oh, so it's 470. The claim itself is 478 pages. And folks, he's citing Ontario's civil procedure, rules of civil procedure, and he's in a British Columbia court. Like, what? They have their own rules of civil procedure. Why are you citing Ontario rules of civil procedure in a British Columbia court? Like, it makes
here's the thing.
No sense.
The crux, even forget about that, Amanda. The crux of the whole thing, what is he asking for?
Nothing.
I don't know. Couldn't figure it out.
And how has he developed, how many people? How has he developed all their cases? Because they're all different.
We're talking extreme.
Give the 2 examples. Yeah, the Kimberly's versus Valerie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Valerie is a straight up assault. Kimberly, it's so different. And this is the thing, like, how can a judge make a ruling when it's like, you've got an orange over here, a banana down here, a pineapple. They're not even, so it's going to be tough. And it's like, we said it's.
Looks like he just went around collecting. Oh, you want to see? Okay, slap that on. Slap that one on. Slap that one on. And it's not certified as a class action because it couldn't be. Because in order to get a certification for a class action, you have to show the similarities in everybody's case. And there's no similarities well, I mean, there might be some. I'm not saying there's no similarities in any of them, but there's no common thread. They're all over the place.
Yeah. And the big, Kimberly, where are you, Kimberly? Kimberly, do you want to let everyone know? It's up to you. You had written to them and asked, you had asked them to remove you from the case, and they didn't, did they?
No. I sent them 2 emails. I got a call from Tanya Gaw. Well, we were on a Zoom the same day. Tanya Gaw.
Sorry, just so everyone knows, I'm removing Evan because these people are trying to make comments in the chat to make us appear as white supremacists. So I wanted to flag that because anyway, continue on. He's gone
Okay,
now.
I actually tagged him. I was watching for him for one more, and I was going to delete him. But
Oh no, they don't get one more. They're gone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, they're gone. Okay, sorry, Kimberly, go ahead, please.
So I had sent her 2 emails. Tanya Gaw, she's the one that's here in BC. Anyway, she said she had phoned me one of the days that we had a Zoom. I don't know if it was a Friday or if it was the other one, the Monday. Can't remember. It's on my phone. And she's wanting to inform me now that we're going ahead with the court case. And I haven't heard from Tanya Gaw in over a freaking year, other than me trying to phone her to get help for my court case. And that wasn't important because apparently our part in the court case isn't the big part, but it's $4 million. Anyway, she never asked me any questions whatsoever why I wanted to be off of this court case. But I sent you the emails. I did email her. I told her I've emailed you and told you I wanted off of this case. And then she looked at, oh yeah, you did. That was not for me. That was for my mom, because what the nursing home did to her, and it was a large part of the case because it was going after VHA.
Yes, and did she remove you?
No, by the looks of it, what you showed me yesterday, nope, I'm still there. So I guess
Did you know they were going to court?
That's what she phoned me for, is that they were going to court, and I said I don't want nothing to do with it because I knew it was going to be frivolous.
And the thing that pissed me off that you read in there, it said if they get costs awarded, like if you guys get costs awarded to you, they keep them. But if you get costs levied against you, you guys got to pay it.
Yeah, but they already raised millions of dollars for this, and they're going to get millions of dollars. Like our part of the case was $4 million. Yeah. So you're going to get $4 million. Yet it was my mom that was abused.
Yeah.
And it was because I don't know about the other plaintiffs, but we have so much friggin' evidence. We have tons and tons. It took us weeks to get all of the information together. We got emails, we've got phone calls, we've got Zooms, you name it, we freaking got it for what's it called? I can't think of what the word is. Evidence. Yeah. But so yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm not going to continue on, but Annette, I think maybe we'll address the Rocco later, because here's the thing, guys. Listen, I'm a lay person in all of this, and I can't. You can't. It's not clear what the hell they want. It doesn't say anywhere. Like typically your court filing says what you want. I want this. When you're the plaintiff, you're saying you want something. It's nowhere to be found. And here's the thing. I want an
order to do something. I want money.
Yes.
I want.
Or exactly. Here's the thing.
I want to ask for something.
All of the people, all of the plaintiffs, if they lose, they're fucked. You can't do anything else. And I don't want these people to lose, especially Valerie.
If they lose, they pay the court costs.
Yeah, guys.
But if how did they say? Oh yeah, if there's court costs awarded, then they get it. Like Tanya Gaw and Rocco get it if there's court costs accorded.
If there was damages for the plaintiffs, then they would. I think it's 25% that the lawyer gets.
Yeah. But still, it should be split. Like if you get costs, you guys put money towards the costs. So why wouldn't you get
the reward
money given back to you?
Yes.
For what you put into the costs?
And I will be honest, I didn't care. I really didn't care about the money part. I have never been a money person. I really didn't care about the money part. I just wanted the nursing home to pay for what they did to my mom
100%.
And what they did to our family. But I know now they're not ever going to have to pay because this is such bullshit.
You can do what we're doing with the travel restriction for the most vile person in that home that did that to your mother, Kimberly.
Oh, that would be the I don't want to call her what I really want to call her.
The terrible one. And you know that we will support you through that.
Nurse Ratchet.
You know that we would support you through that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, guys, it is 20 to 10 already, eh? Jeez, man. I talk a lot, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're gonna move into Q&A now.
No. Kimberly's stuff. Kimberly's statement, like what she's doing with the 13th, and
but we have to be careful about what we're saying there.
no, we don't.
There's some stuff we were going to withhold.
There's one thing, but not the strategy or anything. There's nothing to withhold.
No, she's just going to talk about what she's. Are you prepared to talk about that, Kimberly?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We already did, though, didn't we?
Well, because I was thinking. Well, no, I don't know if we're prepared to talk about that tonight, Jane, because we didn't really we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But what I was thinking we could do, Jane, is that we could get ourselves a little more prepared, and it might actually be good to do for a lead up for the small claims on the 13th, and we could do a Zoom live with Kimberly, and we could invite a few key people and do a mock trial.
On the 13th?
No, like next week, like Monday or something.
Yeah, okay, you mean to prepare for the 13th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you be interested in doing that, Kimberly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be too mean.
No, don't be mean. No, you're
right. Just don't be too mean.
Don't you be mean to us.
Scare me.
Don't be mean to us, Kimberly, because you're gonna kick ass. So why don't we do that? We'll get some folks, and if anybody here would like to participate in a mock trial with Kimberly, and before you came on, Jane, we were talking about Kimberly's case. So there were some folks on here that heard.
Good.
Yeah, so there was a lot of folks on here that heard what we were talking about. So if anybody would like to participate, you're welcome, and we'll do it. We could do it Monday.
Oh,
okay.
I don't know that I can.
We could do Wednesday.
You know what, guys? Our Monday's busy because
I know we have the interview. It's that's at 2:00. Though.
And Wednesday we have a Zoom meeting
with
Andre.
Oh boy, Thursday's good.
Let me just get the right month.
Right month.
This is how we roll.
I shouldn't laugh because I was actually ticking off when I was going to the gym, and I was doing it in May, and it wasn't May anymore. Right?
Time's going so fast. I can't believe it's June. Okay, let's continue on because it's 9:41.
Okay, can I ask you a quick question then?
Oh, you're gonna go in front of everybody else, are you, Kimberly?
Okay, I will then.
Okay, if it's a quick one. It was just a quick one because I actually. Is it?
It is really a quick one.
Okay.
I still have not heard back from the request for other stuff that I need, like body cams and the video of the whole time I was in the store.
Follow up with them every day.
And also that will get brought up on the 13th to complain.
Okay.
Make note of it.
I will.
Make note of it.
Thank you.
The other thing that we talked about too, Jane, was that when she didn't get an opportunity to set her trial, to set up her trial, it was done with the lawyer that she fired. They never asked her any questions about how much time you need. Are you going to call witnesses? They just went forward with what the other lawyer had done. So if they move forward with the trial, we were thinking that could be her second motion to say that she'd like to renegotiate, or she'd like to reset the trial.
Okay.
We don't know. It doesn't mean they'll do it, but if it goes to trial.
He's only allowed one day, and I've got 6 witnesses now to question.
Yeah, so you can bring that up on the 13th.
Yeah.
We'll prepare, and they have to allow you have a right to full defense.
Yeah.
So they can't deny your witness time, and one day's not enough.
Yeah, but when I was in court, the problem is that the prosecutor just says, "Oh, I only need 1 day." They did not want to hear anything.
That's what they did to me too. That's what they did to me too recently.
And at that time, I was told there weren't any witnesses, and then I found out, oh, they're going to be calling all 6 of them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll shut up now.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's remind ourselves to set a date for this because Amanda's going to look through her calendar. Okay, we're going to get to questions now.
I think it's more like our calendar.
The calendar. Okay, Bonita. Hello, Bonita. How are you?
Hi, you musketeers.
Hi, Musketeers.
Musketeers.
Oh, musketeers. Pardon me.
We're Canadian after all.
I'm Albertan, as you know, from Calgary. Am I still doing the NOL to Ontario?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to make clear on that because I know it's 50,000 here in Alberta. So I'm going to say 35,000 only worth of.
They could do it there too because
I was going to say maybe she should do it there because it's more.
Yeah.
But if I do it here, present it to him.
Oh yeah. Just out of curiosity, have we got a fax number on the statement of debt? Because if not, let's get his fax number for his office.
Yep, there's a fax number. There's a fax number and an email.
Okay, perfect. Because I would if you have a fax, I would prefer you do fax over email, and then email is the last resort. Because fax is a more recognized legal form of service than email is. It's not to say email won't work. If all you have is email, do email, but I would prefer to see fax over email.
Okay. And then my other thing is I just received finally a letter from Employment Canada because I didn't initially.
Before we go on to another topic, you don't have to serve an NOL. So you don't have to have good proof of service. So it would be better for our purposes to not to push the fax because most people don't have access to a fax. So they might think, oh, I can't do this properly because I can't do a fax. So if you have access,
I'm not saying don't do the email.
I would just slightly modify that. Say if you have a fax, use it. If you have a fax machine or a fax online fax, or somebody, use it. But if not, go ahead and use your email. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So this letter that I received is very interesting. It came yesterday, marked May 25th, and it's Western Canada and Territories Region, SCC, with an Edmonton address, but it's supposed to be for employment and insurance for EI, and it just says that you're not entitled to employment insurance regular benefits because you lost your employment with Jazz Aviation, reduced rate on October 31st, 2021 as a result of your misconduct.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Misconduct.
However, because your benefit period begins on January 16th, because I didn't put it in right away because everyone said, oh no, you're not going to be allowed to. You're you're with the airline and blah, blah, blah. But then I had been at a rally and one of the WestJet girls said, oh no, put yours in because she was receiving EI.
Yeah.
To receive regular benefits after losing your employment as a result of your misconduct, you must accumulate additional hours of insurable employment. If you become unemployed again and want to receive regular benefits in the future, you'll have to file a new claim. Furthermore, we're unable to pay you EI benefits from January 16th, 2022, because you have not responded to fact-finding attempts, which means you've not proven your availability for work. I don't know what the hell they're talking about because every time I fill out my forms online, they're asking me facts and I'm saying I'm available to work and whatever. And then it just says, if I have any information to submit, which could change their decision, blah, blah, blah. So I know you guys had started something or there was somewhere to go with the people with the eye, or there was a guy that was doing it.
Do you mean like a group?
Yeah, there was a group.
Yeah, there is an EI group. Do you have the link for that, Amanda?
I do.
There's an EI
Yeah,
group
just-
on Telegram, and
Okay.
on our website, we also have some information on there.
Mhm. But I mean, as far as I know, I haven't lost my job.
No,
Like,
because
I've
they
just
put you
been
on leave
told I'm
without
on an
pay.
unpaid leave,
Right.
and that it got extended now till November of 2022.
Right. Did you appeal the EI?
No, I just got the letter yesterday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you
haven't
want
done
to appeal
anything
that.
yet.
You want to appeal that, but you don't appeal it on the basis that you didn't lose your job, right? Because there is no such thing as employer putting an employee on unpaid leave. It's not a legal status. It's stupid.
Yeah, and this result of misconduct. What misconduct are they talking about?
Yeah, well, it's just you just appeal it on that basis, like it's a false, like there's a false allegation here.
Okay. The fact that they put me on the unpaid leave, or the fact that they're saying
the fact that they didn't have any reason to put you on unpaid leave.
Okay.
So you're appealing. You didn't. There's no misconduct.
Yeah.
They put you arbitrarily on unpaid leave. Which isn't illegal.
Well, I haven't contacted the union. I got the letter yesterday. I was hanging on to it just to talk to you guys tonight about it, to say, what the hell? Now they're saying you've lost your employment, but then they go right after you've lost your employment with Jazz Aviation, and then it says reduced rate on October 31st. Reduced rate. It's like I'm on unpaid leave as of November.
They're just trying to circumvent they're just trying to find any way that they can to stop you from getting EI.
Yeah.
Appeal that.
Well, I've never ever claimed it in my life, so I should be entitled to get it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I messed up by not putting it in until January when I was laid off.
No,
November.
because you were on an unpaid. I don't know. Because the thing.
Actually, there's a case law for Richmond, City of Richmond.
Oh yeah, that's right. Do you know about that, Bonita? The City of Richmond workers got back pay, and they got the
reinstated.
Oh, so did the Toronto.
Well, I'm in Calgary. Can I use that even though it's not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
okay.
The Toronto Police Services are getting their jobs back too.
Well, yeah.
Right on.
Oh, everybody's getting their jobs back except a federally regulated.
You gotta get on it though. You can't just sit back and wait till your job gets given back to you. Somebody got on that and fought it and won. That's how it works.
Well, if you guys want to go after Omar Algebra, we can do an NOL for him too.
Well, yeah, that's who I originally contacted about this.
Omar Algebra it's an order in council for the federal employees.
Yeah, but he said he was following, like what's her name?
Bonita. Did you not hear Ronsorelli versus Duplessis? Let me read that for you again. It says, I'm just going to go to the bottom. A colonel, governor, a secretary of state, a military officer, and all subordinates, though carrying out the commands of their official superiors, are as responsible for any act which the law does not authorize as is any private and unofficial person.
Yeah.
He's acting out of jurisdiction. He's acting out of his authority. Omar is ripe for the picking.
Yeah.
And actually, I think, guys, we should duplicate this NOL for Omar because it would really just be a matter of swapping out the order and swapping out the statement of facts, but everything else should be the same.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I don't know. There is.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, there is talk that something's happening at the end of June, and I don't know what that is, if they're going to be dropping everything and letting us come back to work. We don't know, but that's just what we've heard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? But here's the thing. if you guys start serving NOLs to the individuals who are doing the harm, especially when you guys are protected by your collective agreement, then you might start seeing changes happening, right? Because you guys have a collective agreement.
Yeah, well, that's why initially they said, no, we can't do the NOLs because we're in a union.
Who said that? The
Well,
union?
Everybody said it.
yeah, basically
Well,
the
everybody's
union
wrong.
did tell us that. So,
Everybody's
yeah.
wrong. Of course you can, because you're not serving it to the union. Just like we are with this Michael Keenan. You're serving it to the individual that did the harm.
Yeah.
Right? So,
But I mean, is it too late? Because now it was November 1st?
No, you've got 2 years, 2 years from the date of the incident.
Okay.
I'm going to message you because I can do next Monday if you want to meet, since we're not going to do the ladies aren't going to be available. If you want to meet on Monday.
Oh, okay. Sure. Let's do that.
Okay. I'll message you. I'll chat with you right now.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks, ladies. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Bonita.
Appreciate all your help.
You're very welcome. We'll talk on Monday.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Janice, hi.
Oh, there's my unmute. Hi, everyone.
There you go.
Thanks for taking my call. Just a quick couple of comments regarding some phone calls I made this week, specific to the Windsor crossing. And my question was very simple for any and all calls that I was making was, who are giving these tickets? That was the question. And does someone have a schedule of offenses and specific fines as required by the schedule of fines on the summons, which is the POA Form 3. So I started with a few phone calls. The first was public health, and they said, no, we don't issue fines. I spoke to a supervisor after an hour and a half of
That's rich, because they sure are right now. That's all my tickets have been issued by public health.
And I do want to qualify that when I go on to my next questions. I said, oh, that's interesting, because many conversations that I've had are that they've been issued by public health. And they said, nope, not us. I said, okay. And they suggested that I call and find out information with someone from ArriveCan. So I did that too. Called ArriveCan. No, we don't issue tickets. I said, okay. And they suggested that I call the health unit. So specific to my questions, I was keeping all of my phone calls, trying to limit them to the Windsor border crossing. And there are two borders there, the bridge and Amherstburg. So then I called the Windsor Essex Health Unit, and I spoke to a supervisor after, again, lots of transfers. And the supervisor said, no, we don't issue tickets, and we have been called to come to attend, and we have refused. We don't have time for that nonsense. They suggest, this is the Windsor Essex Supervisor Health Unit. They suggested I call the police, the local police, and see if they have any information for me. Called the first Windsor police, and they said, no, we don't attend on site. We don't issue tickets. And I said, oh, that's interesting. So you're the fifth group that I've called, and no one seems to know who these people are. And I wonder if it's a scam. He goes, oh, sounds like a scam.
Well, no, they're being hired by the federal government, not the local police, not the local.
So I want to get to that part. So again, my questions are very simple. Who are these people? Does anyone know who these people are and who they're hired by? So he suggested I contact Border Patrol and see if they know. So called, again, one of the Windsor CBSA agents, got their call center, and they said, well, no, we do ask you those questions, and we don't issue tickets, but we'll send you on to public health. I said, that's interesting. I just spoke with a supervisor for public health, and they say they don't issue tickets. And he said, well, just a second. Let me try to get a supervisor. Put me on the call with a team lead. Oh, well, here's the number. I have the direct number for a quarantine officer. Maybe they'll be able to help you. I said, okay. So I called the quarantine officer. They answered, where'd you get my number from? Who are you? I said, oh, I was just speaking to border services. And they said that when there's no one on site, that they would call this number and that you would ask the questions of the people if they wanted to answer. And she said, no, I don't give out any information for, and it says so when she started to read all these things. And I said, specific to, they will not answer any questions relating to tickets or fines for any traveler wishing to enter Canada before their arrival. And I said, oh, great news. I'm not wishing to arrive into Canada. I'm actually in Canada and a Canadian citizen. So you can answer my questions then. And we went about this, and she's again very, I guess, taken aback that, first of all, that I got a border agent to give me her number directly. Mm-hmm. And then she suggested.
Do you still have her number?
I have all my numbers, and I have all the calls recorded, which is fantastic. Oh, yeah. I was just gonna ask. Oh, I love it. So from quarantine officer, she suggested again that I call public health because she wouldn't answer who she worked for. So it's none of your business. And I said, well, I'm trying to determine the number that was given to me by Border Patrol, who you are. And if you are an agent of public health, then I have a right as a Canadian citizen, because I'm a taxpayer, to know if you're legit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she ended up hanging up on me, whatever. It's all good. And again, I just wanted those two questions answered. Who are they?
Yeah.
And what's the schedule of tickets and the fines associated for those things that they're writing as the offense, right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get that.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, you may be getting these things, and by the way, to preemptively bypass that or whatever, these are your options, whatever. Anyways, if they want to talk to somebody, no one has to talk to the next stage of whoever these supposed public health people are. So I was given a number by the quarantine officer before she hung up on me to call the PHAC information line. I said, oh, I just got off the call with a supervisor. This is a different number, though. She was number. So I ended up calling this number. And it wasn't a number that I recognized. But interestingly, when they answered, I got the first call center, so tier 1 of the call center. And he called himself an information officer for public health, COVID regulations for travel. That's what he called himself. So that was tier 1. And so I said, look, I've called these people, these ABC agencies, Border Patrol, the local police, the local health unit, and no one seems to know who these people are. Are there people issuing tickets, or is it a scam? And of course, we know the answer. Playing those questions out to find out who these people are, right? After some, again, this is hours and hours over a couple of days. He said, and he told me that they are not public health, that they are subbed by public health, but they are actually Service Canada employees, which I thought, oh, I didn't know that. Okay. That's very interesting. So then, of course, I said, thank you so much. Got his name and all the information. And he says, I'm sorry, I can't answer your questions about the schedule. This is just the call center. I can transfer you to my supervisor. So the supervisor, again, answered that he was an information supervisor for public health, COVID regulations for travel. Mm-hmm. He refused to answer what agency he worked for. But the previous warm transfer agent, first call, told me it was Service Canada. And so he was able to give me some of the fines. So all those things, Rebecca and others that have quoted, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, well, who are these people at the border? Well, I don't know that answer. And I said, okay. So the next day, I called the other Windsor police station, and this is a good and an enlightening moment. And so I got transferred to someone there, and we started off by, again, me just stating, I've called all these ABC agencies, talked to all these people, but here I am. I still don't know who these people are. I said, Border Services says that, the police are on site. And I said, but no one seems to know. And I called Windsor Police yesterday, and they said, no, not us. And he said, well, actually, we send our officer there when there's no public health agency subcontractor there available off hours. I said, off-duty officers? He says, yeah, we pay extra if they're not scheduled for duty, and if there's so I thought that was
that's what they did at a barbecue.
Yeah,
because the police wouldn't do it.
That's
so
right.
They hired as private security.
Private security.
Yeah. Even when I was at Windsor, and Jane and Amanda, you guys were on the phone with me, and I refused to answer their questions. Police came. Remember, the cop came to the car, and he was just like, "Lady, I don't care." Remember,
I remember that. I loved it.
Yeah, he was like, "I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Like, just shut up." He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. But yeah, so this is interesting.
So she's onto something. That's how they're doing it. That's how they're getting
public health. Right. So public health isn't actually on site. Public health is actually not the ones issuing offense notices. Police are officially not on site and are not issuing offense notices.
Whoa. Oh,
so
this is really good. This is really
Hold
good.
on a second. The girl that ticketed me, Jane, when you guys were on the phone, she was not a police officer. She was public health. 100%.
Yeah, I know, but you hear what she's saying?
As a subcontract of public health.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But I just want to clarify that there are public health officers who
But they might be presenting as public health officers, but whether their real legal status may be
correct. And that was not off.
No, but what I'm getting at is the girl in Windsor who gave me the ticket, I highly doubt that she was a police officer. There's just even the guy that ticketed me. No,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
I don't think so. These people, I don't think so. I think they're giving you the runaround, that's for sure. But anyone who's issued a ticket with me that has not been a police officer, I would highly doubt that.
Oh, listen, the Adamson barbecue, they issued tickets, they issued charges, and we investigated that, Rebecca, to see what authority off-duty police officers have, and guess what? They have the full authority they have when they're on duty.
Well, and
you can't say that. They have a uniform and a badge. Therefore, that
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is in the Quarantine Act, these people are authorized.
Yeah, as peace officers.
No, they're not authorized as peace officers. They're authorized as quarantine officers.
I know, but you're missing the point here. Okay, the point is, how are they able to manipulate these people into overstepping? That's the point.
Well, okay.
They've created.
I get that.
They've created. This is also another thing that's coming out of what she's saying, that the actual police are saying, "Fuck you, we're not doing that."
No, I understand all of that.
And the public health are saying, "Fuck you, we're not doing that." So in order to get it, now listen. So it doesn't have to be the same as yours, and maybe yours was real ones that wanted to do it, but what she's got onto is that the police are not doing it, and the public health are not doing it. They're hiring people as agents of.
Yes, exactly.
100%. That's my point.
And we got to use that, not brush it off and say, "Well, they didn't do that to me, so that's no big deal."
I'm not saying that. If I may.
Yeah.
The quarantine is hiring people willy-nilly off the street to do this.
Yeah.
This is my point.
Yes,
I agree. This is what I'm getting at. It's not the public health agencies at the municipal levels and the local levels. It's literally people, and the reason I'm saying Yes, absolutely, they're going to hire cops to do this. I get that. I'm saying in my experience, because it's been like 4 times now, the people that they've hired, they're not people that know anything about the law, but they're not coming from the municipal public health. They're hiring them under the federal Canada, so Service Canada makes sense. And these people are fucking, sorry, I'm swearing again. I'm not going to say sorry, but anyway, whatever. They're clueless. They're clueless. They know what they've been told of the Quarantine Act, and that's it. They can't speak to anything else. And they're completely, they're literally, it could be anybody. It could be a McDonald's worker. Not that I'm criticizing people that work at McDonald's, but someone with no experience, out of school, has never had a job before, could do this job.
Yeah.
That's the most disturbing part.
And I want to emphasize, bold, underline this part right now, because at each of these conversations that I've had, I was very polite, cordial, and really tried to circle back to, I'm just asking 2 questions. And then of course they in each capacity, they would say, well, this is what I have. This is what has been told to us. And there's a lot more to it. Of course, I'm trying to really crunch it down. But at each of these opportunity, or at each of these moments and conversations, I wanted to take the opportunity to respond to what they were reading. And I said, oh, that's great that you have that in front of you. However, there are these other readings that you might be interested in, because you're only given a snippet of it. And I was quoting, of course, those things, especially the orders in council, the latest one that was just renewed for minimizing the risk. And I sent that in the link in the conversation, whereby right in the orders for minimizing the risk, ... It is stated for both all 3, pre-screening, quarantine, and vaccination for foreign nationals. And this, I think, may be overlooked in some conversations, if you want to even bring that up. But it was brought up to me in these conversations. Well, we're following the orders in council. I said, you know that they're set to expire May 31st. And they said, oh yeah, well, it's renewed. I said, oh, has it been renewed? It's only May 30th. So I haven't seen that yet. But certainly, of course, it's renewed, because it's been renewed every 60 days. We know that that's the case, right? But specific to the orders in council, which must be published within 14 days in the Canadian Gazette, there are sections, and again, I won't waste everyone's time on this, within the orders of council, the latest one, which state pre-screening, vaccination, and quarantine in each of those 3 sections, foreign nationals. I said, oh, that's great. I'm a Canadian citizen, so I don't need to do any of that stuff. I'm not a foreign national. I'm a Canadian citizen. And then their rebuttal was, well, it's for everybody. I said, well, I'm looking at the orders in council. So that was just one part. And I said, but if you're not interpreting that the same way I am, because I'm just reading it, you can look at your newer $10 bill. You can look at the
You're
first grade.
asking a lot if you think that any of these people even know what you're talking about when you're talking about order in council.
Well, that was his response to me, as he was quoting the orders in council. So in each of my responses,
yes, I know.
Yeah,
because that's probably because there's so many people going suck it when they get there. Because the first couple of times I went through, no one said anything, and then all of a sudden the guy showed me his laptop and pulled up order in council. And you know what I said to him? Well, since you have your laptop open, why don't we look at the Canadian Bill of Rights? He wasn't interested in that.
Yes. So again, in each of these conversations, I was only responding to those things for which they were quoting and reading. And I knew all of those things. I'm well read on each of those things. And I said, okay, just put your eyes a little bit further down to section, whatever it was. And again, just for the purpose of this conversation, because I do want to keep it short and not take up all the time, is there was reference by each of these, not each, but in some of these cases, the agents referred to orders in council, the ArriveCan app. I said, oh, since you've brought up the ArriveCan app, did you have a chance to look at the ArriveCan app before installation? I said, just tap on the more info button. Right at the bottom, it says Canadian citizens, permanent residents and native status do not need to show ArriveCan. I said, did you see that part? Oh, that's not right. I said, well, no, it says so right on the app. And the developer of that app, both on Google Play or iOS or Apple, it was developed by Canadian Border Service Agency. So I said, and again, I was only responding to those things that they were trying to quote to me for the reasons why whoever it was issuing fines. I said, ArriveCan. Oh, well, have a look at the app and see what it says right on the app. Yeah. So that was one thing. And of course, this was blatant. Oh, well, that can't be right. I said, well, maybe you better talk to Canadian Border Services because it is in line with some other regulations that they cannot refuse or deny or hinder your entrance into Canada based on your status, right? But anyway, I don't want to take up much time, but I wondered if you may have some other, not necessarily stories, but just some more information regarding who again are in some cases they're trying to stay employed, and these are the things that I was saying to them. I said, I understand you may not know beyond what you've been emailed or told to in a team meeting or, as part of your employment package, but it might be good for you to know that you may be sued personally trying to be enforcement of these things. And so, and again, I say that in each of these cases to each of these people that I've spoken to, just as a matter of trying to protect our beautiful Canadian people, to let them know that once they undertake enforcement of these things, they could be held personally liable. Yeah,
exactly.
I guess.
No, Janice, those are some really good points. But guys, we got a lot of hands
Okay, can we
up.
just make sure we get those references that she's making? That these policies are for foreign nationals, and the RAVCAN is only for it's not for Canadian citizens.
Yeah. So anyone
Janice, if we put our email, if we put our email in the chat, will you email one of us or all of us to give us these references?
Absolutely. Yeah. Done.
Well, okay. Let's do that, because I'm looking at it right now, and it's saying that foreign nationals are prohibited. But it's not. I think it may be. Yeah, I think we'll look at it. I'll look at it more, but I've looked at this extensively, and I think there's there may be. It's because you got to understand. The issue is not that we're prohibited from entering the country, okay? The issue is getting on a plane. And here's the thing, and maybe this is the valid point. Anybody who fights the quarantine ticket will win.
But it's still good to get more information. This is good information.
I know that, but I totally. But I think there's a two-part to this for sure. So yeah, send us the information. Please, Janet, and we'll look through it more, because there's definitely something funky going on. That is for sure.
Well, it has been for some time, but it's
for 2.5 years, Janice.
Yeah. These times have really opened up a lot of questions, and I think if there's nothing else to thank for, or give thanks for, it's that we're becoming more educated on things that have been going on well past these 2 years, all 100%. These things. So
is your name's Janice?
Yeah, Janice.
Okay, I'm just looking
it's in the chat, Jane.
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking for your name in the chat. I can't find it.
Arthurson, Janice Arthurson.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you see Pippa's comments on the wording on the front inside of the passport?
Yeah. So that's the thing. If you, and it's very difficult for some people who don't have confidence with these threatening authority figures, right? That's the threats. And if you just really can only just reserve a newer $10 bill, and again, I don't advocate this because it's all about the Constitution, but the passport is Constitution. The newer $10 bill, those things that are written on there, although they're Constitution, people may not know that you cannot refuse entry. And it's written, and just keep a newer $10 bill in your pocket if you can get one, and write on the front page of your Canada passport, know that though you're not limited. Oh, and the ArriveCAN app, don't install it. I'm not advocating for that. But if you just pull that up and show the Border Services agent, say, oh, look, your boss actually wrote this right on the app. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I would like to talk to you further about this, Janice. I'm putting.
Yeah, sure.
I can't see your name, so I'm just putting it in to everybody. My email and my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And I'll send you an email now.
Jane, do you want me to private message Janice your phone number?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Actually, Amanda, can you do that?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
Well, I don't even mind. I'm just about.
Jane.
I already got her.
Don't share your phone number here, please, Jane.
I don't care.
You've had trolls.
Jane,
please don't.
Yeah, don't.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I don't care about trolls.
Well, you just don't want to have to deal with bullshit, Jane.
I've dealt with trolls before. I've been around the block.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sue, thank you so much for your patience.
Oh, hi, Rebecca, Amanda, and Jane. Thank you. I have two things. First, about the travel mandate. The place that I was supposed to go actually did not allow me to go in because they don't allow people with foreign passports to go in.
Like you traveled somewhere and they wouldn't let you into the country?
Well, I did not even try because I couldn't get out of the country, right? So would I still be able to do this NOL?
So sorry, you wanted to travel somewhere and you couldn't?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
even
absolutely.
Though that place doesn't allow me to go in, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know where you were trying to go, but the fact remains you can't leave the country.
This meeting is being recorded.
Online.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you couldn't leave the country. Mm-hmm. You can't even get on Via Rail.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the second thing is about work. It was maybe my fault not to pursue it at the beginning. I was put on what they call admin leave at the beginning of the year.
This meeting is being recorded.
All existing policies, we would be able to end your leave and return you to your regular position.
So extortion.
So I don't know, because I haven't done anything before, so am I still able to do something about it?
Okay, so are you asking if you could take legal action against them? Yes, and because it's been less than 2 years, I would imagine. So you've got 2 years from the date of the incident to file.
Mm-hmm. So how do I go about? Do I still do the NOL or?
Yes, we have NOLs. We have NOL templates on the site, and there's like a whole section. Let me get that for you in just a second here. And then, guys, I gotta wrap this up fairly soon. I'm starving, and my husband's like, "Why are you still on this call?" Hold on one second here. Notice of liability. I'm gonna grab this for you. What sector did you work in?
Retail.
Retail. Okay. Yeah, this will apply to you. Okay, hold on a second. So I'm going to put the link in the chat for you right now. Look through that, Sue. I'll put my phone number, or sorry, my email address in here as well. Have a read through everything. There's a video you can watch. There's FAQ. Read through all of that, and then if it makes sense, like if you have any questions, whatever, let us know. Or if you want to like put together your own NOL with your own statement of facts, we can vet it for you.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, but yeah, you have 2 years from the date of the incident to file, but keep in mind you need a little bit of time to serve the NOL and a little bit of time to process the invoice. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Hi.
Oh, hello. First of all, look what.
Hi. Welcome back.
Thank you. Look. No trespassing French. And you know what? I'm really gonna paint this on my fucking driveway, you know. Listen, no, seriously, because my driveway is an old asphalt, so I'm gonna do it. Seriously, tomorrow, the very first thing, I'm gonna paint in white, no trespassing. Anyhow, girls, if I can share my airport experience. As you know, I was able to leave the country because the Polish airlines didn't ask for anything. So
did you use a Polish passport?
Okay, I used Canadian, and I had a Polish as well. And there was a Polish woman, so she told me, no, because you know, she said to me, you on the way to enter Poland, you can use Polish passport, okay? So now I had two of my passports, okay? I entered Poland in Polish,